let's go through the installation process. All right. Just tell me if you guys are using Anaconda, Anaconda 3, then it comes by default. The NumPy is by default installed into that. But in other case, if you don't have Anaconda Python, then you can use pip install NumPy. Yeah, you can use this command to in your command prompt to install the NumPy library into your system. So just a basic theoretical part. It provides powerful n-dimensional objects. Like without NumPy, it is possible to do calculations, but NumPy is basically used in machine learning because it can very properly, very nicely handle the n-dimensional arrays. So that's why basically we use NumPy into uh, in machine learning. So uh, let's jump directly into the coding part. So basically, initially, in first step, let's see how we create NumPy array. All right. So this statement na import NumPy as NP. This is common. No matter what function you want to use, but if you want to use numpy's function, you'll have to import this statement. Then suppose let us name our array as array underscore 1d, as this is 1d array. And how to know that whether this is 1d or 2d or 3d? Just see after this np.array function, there is only one list inside this function. Okay, so due to this, this is 1d array. So let's suppose like we have created a numpy array. The function for creating array is np.array, numpy.array. Since we have used alias name as np, so np.array, and inside that we'll pass a list, and then it will get converted into array. Just remember one thing, guys. We'll have to compulsorily pass list only inside this. Passing anything else won't work. So now let us see whether our array is created or not. Yeah, see, this is created. And if you want to check the type of arena, see, this array underscore 1d, it's an numpy.nd array. Yeah. So this is about the 1D array. Now let us jump to 2D array. What is the difference? After this np.array parenthesis, there are two brackets. This one is major bracket, and inside this is the first row, and this is the second row. Uh, so let us see what array underscore 2D holds. This is the 2D array, and if you want to cross check whether this is or not, we'll execute a command dot shape. So see, it's a 2 cross 3 array. It means 2 rows and 3 columns. Yeah. So this was about creating NumPy array. Then let us move to some of the functions of NumPy array. For getting dimensions of the array, we can use array name, array underscore name, means whatever is the name of our array dot end name function. Like suppose see over here, our array underscore 2d holds a 2d matrix, right? It holds a 2d matrix. Now let's check the shape of this, like dimensions of this. Then this command will give us 2 because this is a 2d array. Then if we want to get the data type of our array, there's a function called array name dot d type. This will give us the data type. So in here we can over here we can see that the data type of the elements of our array are in 32. What do you think will happen if I put over here 1.0, 2.0, 3.0? Now, what will my array name underscore d type print? Anybody, any guesses?
Should be float
Will
type.
float
No?
only.
Exactly, float 64. Yeah. Then this is this array name dot, yeah.
Sorry to interrupt you.
No, tell
What is
me.
meant by 64 means what?
64 means what? Actually, to be honest, I don't know what is float 64. But let's just check it out.
64 is the bit, okay. So 128 bit,
Yeah,
64
basically a
bit,
bit.
32 bit,
Okay,
something
okay.
like that.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, perfect. Now, if you want to check the shape of our array, then array name, this is our 2D array, right? So if we want to check the shape of this array, we'll run the command array name dot shape, which will give us 2 cross 3 matrix, because over here we can see this is the first row and this is the second row. But what do you think will happen if I run the same command for array underscore 1D? Any guesses? See over here and tell me. What do you think will my array name dot shape? Uh,
It will be only printing your means the I think columns only, not rows.
no, but what actually would be the output of this command?
Maybe the I think
1 cross 4.
Exactly, 1 cross 4. 4 cross.
4 is the basically row. So you have 4 rows. Sorry,
9.
I think
4 columns,
4
four
columns.
four columns and
1 row, single row.
one yeah.
Okay. Uh, Now this once function of NumPy, what this np.once function is used, it helps us to create a matrix with all values as 1. So let's just implement it, all right. So suppose mx underscore 1s, let's create our numpy.once array in this mx underscore 1 variable. Okay, perfect. And let's d type. This is an optional command. Even if we don't give this now, it will run. But let's try this first. We can see over here that all the elements of this array are 1. Okay. Now, why should we trust him? Why should you guys trust me that this is an array? Let's check it out now. Perfect. Is it an array, right? It's an array, right? NumPy array. So what this function will do, it will create an array with all elements as 1. And what suppose I give over here float. What might be the output? See, 1 point, 1 point, 1 point. Basically, floating point values as the elements of the matrix. And one function dot reshape.
Hitesh,
Yeah, tell me.
this 16 is variable or fixed, constant?
No. This is variable. Like, yeah, okay.
Yeah, I
Let me
can
show
make it
it
as
to you.
8 or 7 or 6.
Yeah, that's just the number of functions, a number of values we want into our matrix. Suppose I put it over here now, 8. Now count. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This just lets us know how this is to inform the NumPy that we want only 8 elements, or it might be any. Suppose n number of elements. Suppose I put it over here 10. Na? Still it will work. See, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So first parameter is the number of elements we want in our matrix.
Okay.
And this D type, we can even ignore this D type. All right, it's not that we should use this. Let's try. It's still working, but what the difference is? It will assume that we want a floating point values in the matrix. So if we want the integer values, then we'll have to specify it as integer, so that will get printed.
That
Yeah,
means it's a default is taking the
float.
floating values, right?
Exactly, right.
Okay.
Perfect. And I erased one command from here. This was the reshape function. So what it will do initially, let's not jumble this. Let me just cut it over here. So you can see, just check it out. What do you guys think will this print? Hello. See, it prints 8 cross 1. It means that 8 columns and 1 row. All right. Now let's see one magic over here. What if I do this way? Dot reshape. Suppose I want to convert this into, suppose I take 36, okay. And if I want this into 6 cross 6 matrix. So now let us see. Mx underscore. Now see. Okay, perfect. So in this first command, what we did was we created a numpy array with all elements as one. Then we checked out the the shape of that matrix, which gave us 36 columns and 1 row. All right, and then we just use this command dot reshape. So what this will do is, if we have 1D array na, it will convert our array into multi-dimensional array. But we need to keep one thing in mind: the total number of elements should be equal to the multiplication of this reshape function. Like 6 into 6, it is 36, right? Over here. So we need to keep this in mind. Let's just create an error. So see over here. The first 1D array shape is clearly mentioned 36 cross 1, but when we try to print the shape of mx underscore 6s, since this multiplication is not equals to 36, so it's not able to properly reshape it. We get value error, cannot reshape array of size 36 into shape 6 cross 5, 6 comma 5. So we need to keep this in mind. The multiplication of the total elements should be equal to total number of elements. So what basically it means is we need to reshape our matrix in such a way that multiplication of row and column should be equal to total number of elements. All right. Is it clear, guys? Till here?
Yes.
Perfect. So yeah, this type function, you know, right, in Python. What this basically does is it tells us about the type of any, suppose I put it over here. Sorry. Suppose I put it over here. Hello,
Yeah, it
guys.
returns type of the object.
It will print the
Exactly.
type of variable.
Exactly. This will print string, I think. See, string.
It prints your the data type which you are
Okay.
doing in.
Let me ask you something. What if you put the type of type? Anybody guess?
I think it would be class.
It's one of the interview question.
Type. Yeah.
Yeah, type is also class in Python. It is
Python.
also an object. Yeah, so everything is an object in Python, whether it is you type or int, float, or string, dictionary, function. Function is also an object. It is a first class object. Okay. Okay,
Mhm.
fine. Yeah, you continue. Yeah.
Okay, so
Acha, one question.
Yeah.
Python is a fully object-oriented programming language.
Python supports the object-oriented programming. I mean, we can't say it is fully. Some of the features won't be supported. For example, method overloading, which is not possible, okay, in Python because of dynamic typing. Okay, that is one reason. There are some features which won't support. And for example, if you take a Java, there is an interfaces. There are
Yes.
interfaces, right?
Yes.
But if you look at the Python, there is no interfaces. Okay, like that, there are a few functionality which Python does not support. So we can't say it is a fully object-oriented, but we can say it supports the OOPS concepts. Yeah, we can discuss that one later. Yeah, bye.
Java, why it is interface means it is not supporting multiple inheritance. That's why it came interfaces in Java. But Python actually supports multiple interfaces. That's why interface is not required actually.
Yeah, but Python is planning to introduce the interfaces in. I mean, they are planning to introduce in the upcoming versions. Okay.
Okay.
But yeah, whatever you said, that is a use case basically. That's right. Go ahead, Siddesh. Sorry for stopping. Yeah, go ahead, please.
okay, great. So after the numpy.ones function, let's move to zeros function. Any guesses what this might be doing?
It will give you the zeros, number of zeros you entering.
Exactly. Yeah. So
And let me introduce like these functions you are using like zero function or one function. This will be you will be using this function for like for making your matrix in when you're dealing with neural networks, then you can use this matrix like uh, I have done the projects that social distancing project. So in that project we need to show like which color should be chosen, or you can say like object detection. So if you want to choose different type of object like black object, so zero indicates the color black. So that's why we need to give their number of zeros maximum. So that's why
hmm,
np.zeros function will be more useful for that. So that's why. And if you give 255 like once in np.250 sorry np.1, so and the value will be 255, then that will be a white color. So you need to select which color you want to use for that. So
hmm,
that will be the say we will be using there only.
okay. See over here, one use case of zeros function. For creating mask means if we wish to create zero means false, right? One is true and zero is false. Am I right?
Yeah, you are right. Go ahead.
Okay, so this is one of my image processing projects. So what this basically is doing is we create a black background. So this is how we use NumPy and image processing. This is what I wanted to show over here. Yeah, jumping back to zeros function. Yeah, as Amit said, we use this function for creating a matrix with all values at zero. All right. Let's take it comparatively. One's function will create a matrix of all elements as one, and zeros function will create all elements as zero. Okay. So now, uh, anybody like got a question what this 3 cross 3 over here is? In the previous one, we just gave the total number of elements. Now, what this 3 cross 3 over here might be? Any guesses?
That will be the matrix size of rows and number of rows and number of columns.
Exactly right. So instead of using reshape function, this is a shortcut over here. So yeah, now we can see over here that the variable mx underscore zeros hold a 3 cross 3 matrix with all elements at 0. All right, perfect.
Okay, let me add something here.
Okay.
Technically, I'm just adding. So np dot zeros of 3 comma 3. Okay. So technically it is a tuple, right? It's a tuple object. So you are passing the tuple here, and so whatever you use in the NumPy, pandas, whatever it is, basically end of the day we are using the Python objects only, Python data types only. You are passing the data type, but whatever these guys said, like rows and columns, that's where like we are creating the matrix. Okay, so basically this NumPy using the tuple for the matrix creation or something like that. Okay, but in NumPy there is also function name is called the creating the matrix multiplications, creating the matrix, creating the separate array. There are separate functions also there. So you can use the any existing functions. You can pass the tuple or a list. You can also pass the list there, right? But not in this. Okay, what I mean to say that NumPy accepts list, tuple, integer, binary value. I mean, in the sense Boolean values. All these values can be accepted, guys. Okay, it is not like something new. It is again Python code only. Yeah. Go ahead.
Now let's see what Raja was trying to say. So we have a list over here, right? A list of 9 elements. So if we wish to create this into an array, let's first check the type of. So we can see over here it's a list type, right? Now let's do something crazy. np dot array. This is for creating an array, all right? So we'll pass over here our list. Now let's put it into arr equals to np dot array. Okay. So what do you think should be the type of arr?
It will be array.
Exactly. So this is where we can also pass a complete list to our array function for creating an array. It's not necessary that we should define our elements inside this only. We can even pass an external list to that and convert it into array. Okay. Yeah, perfect. Okay. Now see in here the data type of the elements was integer. Now let's see what will happen if we put d type as string. Now see. Why do you think this might be happening? Any guess? Anybody? All right, I'll tell. If we put d type as string, what it basically does is it will put a null string over there. It means a string variable, a string would be passed over there containing no element. Basically, an empty string would be passed if we keep our data d type as string. Now, for that, let's see. Yeah, see over here. Boolean of an empty string, Boolean value of an empty string is false. False means 0, right? So basically, we have successfully created a NumPy array of 3 cross 3 comma 3 size of data type string. Yeah. I think I confused it. Let me just take it simply. What we have done over here is we have created a zeros matrix with all elements as 0, but the data type of that was string. So as we can see over here, the Boolean value of empty string is false, and in number wise, true stands for 1 and false stands for 0. So what we did over here was we created a 3 comma 3 cross 3 matrix with all elements as empty string, because empty string stands for false. Yeah, I even mentioned it over here. Zeros matrix for d type equals to string gives empty string as element. Now, yeah, similar thing, just I've changed the shape of the matrix which I wanted. Uh, what if we wish to create an empty matrix with random variables? We can use this an np.empty function, and yeah. So what do you think will I get as output? Let's check it out. See, some random numbers. 0 0 0 0 0 0 0. Now this basically is an empty. This is an empty array. See, 3 cross 3 empty array. Yeah. This is because when the function accepts a single value instead of that you have passed an array. See, only array of size 1 can be converted to scalar. But if we want to mx underscore ones, right? Let's see where our mx underscore ones variable is. It's over here. Yeah, it's over here. And this is having a shape of 36 columns and single row. So if we want to put floating point to this, it won't be executed because only array of size 1 means unit array, unit matrix, what we call it in mathematical terms. Only that can be converted to Python scalars. And string of 0 is 0. This is a very old code. I don't know why I did over here. Yeah. Okay. Guys, are you clear till this? Any question? Anybody?
Siddesh, I'm just thinking where we can use that empty string array, 3 by 3 array you used, you created using the zeros and empty string in that. So do you have any example to
I
explain?
think Raja might be knowing that. I don't know basically. Raja, do you know where we use that empty
Because
array?
in NumPy, we generally deals with numbers, right? Not with
Correct.
strings.
Basic
So
I
I'm just,
think basically string won't be useful right there, but these are the game of numbers, so we use these numbers basically in machine learning, but mostly in computer vision to specify any to select any specific matrix, or to customize matrix with different colors, or with different shapes also.
Can anybody tell me what is the use of range function in Python?
Yeah, range means actually it has three parameters. One is start, and one is end, and step length.
Right.
So here there is three parameters are the 0, 50, 5. So starting with 0, 50 means n minus 1 logic means 49, 0 to 49. 5 means step length is 5.
Right.
So each and every value it increments up to 5, 5, 5 like that. So 0 to
Uh-huh.
49 it increments with 5 like that. So means
till
initial
49,
is
right?
yeah 0 to 49 only. 50 means n minus
Exactly.
1 logic.
Exactly. 50, the ending point we did not consider.
Yeah, correct.
So
So 0 to
yeah,
49.
perfect. So what you mean to say is we'll be printing an array of numbers 0 to 49, which are divisible by 5, right? Including 0.
Yes, correct.
Perfect. So let us see. Sorry. I need to just execute this command. Yeah, buddy, can you tell me your name? I actually don't know.
Adi.
Okay, as Adi told, it's the same thing. See, the first element is 0, the starting point. The last element would be 45
40.
because 49 is not 46, 47, 48, and 49. These numbers are not divisible by 5, right?
Yes, correct.
Yeah, so similar to that range function, this a range function is used in NumPy, which will consider the starting point, ending point, but excluding the ending value, like n minus 1 logic. So here 50 is the ending value. We won't consider that thing. We'll consider 49 as the last value, and 5 would be our step length. So after printing this a range, we can see that we can get an array of elements 0, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45. Okay. Now suppose we want to, this is just example, okay. If we want to create a array consisting of all the even elements using arrange function, including 0. So 0, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18. Over here also 20 won't be included because it's the ending value.
Yeah, 20
Then
means n minus 1 is 19. 0 to 19 only.
exactly, yeah. So again, suppose we want to create an array of odd numbers till 48. So 1, 3, 5, 7 till 47. Okay, yeah. This arrange function is clear to everyone, right? Anybody having any question is in this function?
I think you can proceed further.
Perfect. Yeah. Now a second function for creating a NumPy array only. NumPy.linspace. What parameter it holds is similar to like starting. First would be starting value, then the ending value, and total number of parts. Suppose we have 20, okay, and we want to separate it into 20 parts. Then we'll separate the starting and ending value into 50 equal parts. Equal parts in the sense, suppose 1 to 20, we want to separate them into 20 parts, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 till 20. And one thing to remember over here is, as compared to arrange function where we don't include the ending value, but in this linspace function, we include the ending value as well. Let's see over here. Yeah, suppose I want to create an array. I think this would be very much big, so just reduce it. Yeah. So my array starts. The first element of my array starts with 1 and ends at 20, and total 20 parts, which is defined over here. Okay. Yeah. Now let's try. I think. How many elements do you think this will consist of? This one.
5 elements.
Let's check. 0, 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, 5 elements. Now over here, because it was not equal distributable, so we have received float values. Okay. Yeah, now let's try to separate 1 to 20 in 50 equal parts. So this will 1, 1.0, 1.38, 1.74 till 20. See here, the last value is inclusive. Yeah. Okay. Array underscore 2D. Guys, remember this function over here, this array over here. So let's yeah, this reshape function I have already explained previously. All right. Suppose all right. Now see, we have an array consisting all the elements from 1 to 48, all the odd numbers between 1 to 48. So it starts at 1 and ends at 47. Okay. It has a total of 24 elements. Sure. Now we apply a reshape function on this thing, and you can see over here also it has total 24 elements, and the multiplication of this 6 into 4 is also 24. So only the reshaping is possible if total number of elements in the previous array are equal to total number of elements in the next array. So see, the 24 elements have been reshaped to create an array of 4 into 6, like 4 rows and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6 columns. In case of a 3D matrix. Yeah, okay. So if we want to, this consists of 24 elements, right? This odd underscore array. So what we'll do, we'll create it into 3D array. So for that, what we need to do is we need to define 3 values. 2, the first value would be total number of arrays we want. Suppose 24 elements, we want to create them into 2 arrays. So how can we create it into 2 arrays such a way that both parts should consist of similar elements? How many array can we create from this? No, sorry, I missed the question. If you want to create it into 2 equal arrays, how many elements should each one consist of? I think it should be 12, right? Because 24 upon 2 is 12. So what we need to do is create an array, 3D array, which has 2 array, and this 3 over here, it would be the number of rows in each array, in each 2D array. Then this 4 would be number of column in that array. And over here also we need to remember this thing. The product of parameters should be equal to the size of array, which means that 2 into 3 into 4 should be equal to total number of elements in our initial array, which is equal to 24. So 2 3s are 6, 6 4s are 24. It is only possible to reshape any matrix if the total number of elements in first matrix are equal to total number of elements in second array after reshaping. So yeah, we can see over here this 2 we got this is the first array and this is the second array. Just focus on the parameters, okay? Nothing much is important over here, but you need to just focus upon these parameters. So the first parameter would be equal to total number of arrays we want in our matrix. Now just consider this total now, it's a 3D matrix, okay? So in that 3D matrix, we have first array and second array. In the first array, in each array, in the first array we have 3 rows, 1 2 3, which is defined over here, and 4 columns, which is defined over here, 1 2 3 4. It's similar with same thing. So what we can keep in mind is this is shape of each array and this is number of arrays. Yeah, is it clear, guys?
Yeah, clear.
Okay. See, one more, just a bit of jumbling in the parameters. Now we want to create a 1D array of 24 elements into 3D array consisting of 3 2D arrays. So 1, 2, and this is the third array. Then each number of rows in each array 1 and 2. Number of columns 1 2 3 4. Yeah, this is what reshape function does. Now if you want to convert n-dimensional array into 1D array, we can use array name.revel function. Okay, so this is our 3D array, array underscore 3D2. We want to create it into 1D array. So array name dot revel function, and what this parameter means is based on column measures. So let's see what array underscore 1D holds. See, so what it will be doing is this first element of first array, first element of second array, first element of third array, first element of first element of second row of first array, second row of second array, and third row of then second row of third array. So first element, then first element of first array, then first element of second array, then first element of third array, then first element of second row. So like we need to go row wise. Suppose we selected this one now. Every corresponding element should be picked up and put sequentially. So we'll get it accordingly. And suppose we change parameter to C, then it would be based upon row measure, based upon rows. So what it will print is, see, first row, yeah, yeah, see, first row, then the second row till 15, 9, 11, 13, 15, then third row, then fourth row, accordingly to consecutive rows, simultaneously rows, one after other. Yeah, and by default the revel function creates into 1D array based upon the column measure. So even if we don't put any parameter over here now, it will be giving the same output. Just check it out. Okay, nice. Sorry. This is wrong. Sorry, my mistake. Yeah, so by default the revel function will convert based upon row measure. So one row at a time. Yeah. Is it clear, guys? Was I able to explain this thing?
Yeah, it's clear.
Yes, Siddesh.
Okay, perfect. One more function to convert ND array, multi-dimensional array into 1D array is flatten. Now similar parameters, C would be for based upon row measures. Now the same output, like C, based on row measures, level. F would be for based on column measures. Yeah. 125.
One quick question, Radha sir can also answer, or Siddesh can also answer, and to all the audience. We have a flatten function below. So, in neural networks, we where we use what to do with flatten function. Anybody knows? It's a question, means I have answer, but you can give answer. Yeah.
We want to flatten our IND array to pass into a dense network. Before we connect to a dense network, we can flatten our ND array into one-dimensional array for a dense network to calculate the parameters to extract features.
Yeah, basically, yeah, correct.
One question to Raja and everybody listening. Actually, what confusion I was getting is, if we have label function, then why there was a need for flatten function? I'll show you Anaconda. No worry.
In single word, Anaconda is the data science ecosystem. Like it is a platform, data science platform tool. It's not just only we can use the Jupyter notebook. We have the Jupyter lab. We have the VS Code. We have other tools. Like these are all like development tools. So
See,
Anaconda
this
is kind of ecosystem where you can find a lot of tools which is related to the data science and machine learning. Not just Python. You can also use the R Studio that's related to the R language and all. Okay, something like that. You can see there are many tools here. Some tools are related to the visualization. Some tools are related to the some tools are IDs. Some tools are code editors. Some tools are like notebooks. I mean, this is the Jupyter is like interactive. What I can say, interactive IDE basically. We
interactive
actually
computing notebook environment.
exactly in one word. Okay, and Jupyter stands. How many of you know about Jupyter? Jupyter means anybody knows?
No.
Anybody knows about the abbreviation of the Jupyter in this group?
No.
JU stands for the Julian, PY stands for Python, and PYT basically. Last R is actually R language. So in Jupyter, everybody thinks we can use Python. Actually, we can also use R language. We can also use the Julian language and Python. The combination of all these three together is called as a Jupyter. Okay. So
And
yeah,
I think one more thing is also it is also just like a Jupyter, that is Google's product, that is Google Colab.
Colab.
Yeah, Colab. Okay, yeah.
That we will introduce into deep learning programmings. Okay. When it comes to the machine learning and deep learnings, we'll use that tool. But anyway, he is
That
going
is
to
also
share.
looks like a Jupyter like only.
Yeah, somewhat similar.
Yeah.
Let me show you Colab also. Now this is Colab, something similar to Jupyter Notebook.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, welcome, buddy. Perfect. Now there are one function from. This is not from num. No, I'm not sure about that. So yeah, let's assume that we have taken a 2D array and we want to take transpose. How many of you don't know what a transpose of matrix is? Hello?
Transpose basically you are reversing a column. Sorry, reversing your
your whole matrix.
Just ignore my drawing, okay? I'm not familiar of using paint through mouse. What would be the transpose of this matrix?
1, 2, 3 in single row.
Right.
In simple words, we can say converting the rows into columns, columns into the rows, something like this in reverse
Correct.
manner. Yeah. I think most of the people knows we are all from the mathematics background. I think most of the people are from the mathematics background, right? In your college days, school days, I believe, if not wrong, just
Confirm.
yeah.
Yeah, and this is for the slide. Now let's change one, not slide. Sorry. Yeah, now just let's.
Sorry, Siddesh, I have a question. Like, have you heard the term pivot table or pivot table? I don't know the
I
pronunciation.
have just heard about that. I don't know what that actually is.
Even I don't know. I heard that term somewhere. I think it is similar to transpose. Raja, are you aware of it?
Yeah, this pivot table basically we use in the Excel sheets, okay, but we can also use it in the pandas. But this feature won't provide by the NumPy, so we can discuss into the especially in pandas. Because when you are talking about this pivot table, we need two-dimensional data. Especially we use the data frames in pandas. Pandas we have two types of the
Correct.
data types, right?
Series
So
and data frame.
exactly. So we use the data frames and to create. So basically, it is a group of columns and rows. Okay, you can take 3 by 4, 6 by 7, something like a matrix only. But we talk into the based on the data frame level. It is like a spreadsheet based. Basically, we can
You can
create
refer
it.
to this.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. But again, you may ask what is the difference between the normal spreadsheet and pivot table? Pivot table, like you can create some what I can say that you can create
Some group by.
group by some functions you can do. What kind of functions? Aggregate functions. So we can say like what is the maximum value in that table? What is the minimum value in that table?
Yeah, min,
And
max, average, count.
yeah, something like this. Group by, user said order by. So we can perform. You can take, for example, we have 10,000 rows, 10,000 columns. I don't want to apply my logic for 10,000 columns. I will take sample data, example 5 rows and 5 columns. On top of it, I will calculate that is called pivot table. I'll calculate the some aggregate function like max, min, and sum and average. So a lot of things we can perform it. But in pandas, there is a direct function name is called the pivot underscore table, if I'm not wrong. And we can use that and we can do some aggregate functions on top of it. There are so many functions out there. Pivot is there, pivot underscore table is there, cross tab is there, if I remember. And there is a merge is there, we can merge the data frames. But in NumPy, we don't have that facility, that feature.
Okay.
But good, you bought the good concept to the discussion. Go ahead, Siddesh, please.
Okay. Yeah, now in the previous notebook, we saw the use of this arrange function, right? So let me just. Yeah, so now what we'll do is create two arrays of 9 elements and convert them into 3x3 matrix. Yeah, let us do that. Sorry. Yeah, as you can see, we have created two arrays of 3x3 shape. Yeah. So like we can add two arrays using numpy.add function. This is element-wise addition, okay? Which means, yeah, let me show. Element-wise addition. So what that basically means, the first element of both the arrays will get added, then the second element, and accordingly all the elements would get added. Like corresponding elements would get added using this numpy.add function. It can also be done using plus sign, okay? Nothing much. Similar with numpy.subtract, not subtract. Yeah. So since both the arrays were having similar elements, due to that we got a zeros matrix, I guess. Yeah, right. We can also do that using minus sign. Then similar thing. Any guesses what this might do? This might be doing? Hello.
Yeah, it will give a array of ones, like
I
one.
think it returns float value.
Right. Float value of each as 1.
Yeah.
Exactly. As both of you said.
Yeah.
That can also be done using divide symbol. Yeah. Adi, you were speaking something, I guess.
Sorry?
I guess you were trying to say something.
No. Yeah, actually, in this Python, this is an excellent operator is that is slash and double slash. It is only in Python language.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Yeah, double slash means that is float operator.
Correct.
That both operands are int type, it returns int. Otherwise, it returns float value.
Correct.
Yeah.
Anybody in from the present members who doesn't know difference between single slash and double slash, like
That is very interesting question actually.
4 by 4 and 4. Yeah. Anybody who does not know what is the difference between both of these? Anybody?
Yeah. See, slash means division. Division means it always returns float value, and
Right.
double slash means that is
Integer.
floor operator. Whether the operands are both operands are int type, it returns int. Either of the operand or both operands are float type, it returns float.
Correct. And one more thing, it will return the nearest value. Okay. Now let us see. It will only return the first value. It does not care whether we'll have to round off or not. It doesn't
That's basically your
care
floor
about
value.
it.
Yeah.
Now only when it is, suppose it's 1.2 or 1.3 or 1.4, 1.5 till 1.9999. How many 9 we want to put, we can put. But until and unless the first value is 2, it won't return 2. Or until and unless the first value is 1, it won't return 1. It will basically return the first value. It doesn't care about the decimal points, whatever it might be. Yeah. Now this is a bit of fun. Okay. What do you think this multiply function might be doing? Is it that it would be multiplying two matrices?
Yes, it multiplies two matrices.
Sorry?
Yeah, multiplication operator means multiplies two operators only.
Okay. And how, element-wise multiplication or matrix multiplication?
I think matrix multiplication.
I don't think so.
Means matrix multiplication means in the sense first row, first column like that only, right?
No. Now that was confusion over here. This will do element-wise multiplication.
Okay.
Yeah. Now let me just print over here. Now this is our first array. This is our second array. This numpy np.multiply function will multiply element wise. So first element into first element, second element into second element, third element into third element, and accordingly. It will not do the multiplication as Adi was trying to say, row of first into column of second. No, that won't happen over here.
Yeah.
This will do element wise multiplication. And
And
now
the manual mathematics, first row, first column, like that is there.
right, exactly. Now for that kind of multiplication, we have two functions. So one function and one operator. This at the rate we can use for matrix multiplication, what you were trying to say. Now see, this is matrix multiplication. Means this we get by multiplying first row into first column, like that.
This,
Yeah.
while we doing the matrix multiplication, we need to check the one condition. Actually, that is, first matrix columns should be equal to the second matrix rows.
Row, right,
Yeah.
exactly.
That's right. Here it is applicable or not applicable.
That's a general case scenario. It's not. It's not like we can change it. We'll have to follow that. Just since you have asked that question, let's do one thing. Let's try it out. ERR1 equals to P dot. Okay. Can anybody tell me what mistake I did over here? I actually forgot the syntax of range function. Okay. Yeah, perfect. Yeah. So guys, see over here now one fun thing. I've created array1 as 4 cross 4 matrix, which basically means that it has 4 rows and 4 columns. All right. And another one is 6 cross 6 matrix. Now let us try whether this matrix multiplication will work or not? No, see, it doesn't work because codimension, see over here, okay. Input operand 1 has a mismatch in its core dimension 0. Dimension 0 means, is it a row? Is it the row? Yeah, okay. So why this error is because the number of, see over here, okay. This 4, which is number of column and number of rows, this should be equal. Only then this matrix multiplication will work. Now let's, this is not working, right? Now let's make some necessary changes over here. 17, and what if I 4 5. Now see, the number of columns in first array are equal to number of rows in second array. So this, I think, should execute. Yeah, see, it's executing. But one point to note over here, after the multiplication, if we want to know the shape of the obtained matrix, then it would be total number of rows in the first, comma, total number of columns in the second. So initially, see, the number of rows in the first array were 4 and number of columns were 4. In the second array, there were 4 row and 6 column. But after the matrix multiplication, we can see that it has 4 row, which is equal to total number of rows in first column, and 6 columns, which is sorry guys, I confused. Yeah, okay. So the shape of the obtained matrix after matrix multiplication is the total number of rows in first array, comma, the total number of columns in the second array. So this is how we'll get the shape. Yeah. Let's store this into ARR3, okay. Okay, perfect. And now let's just print the shape of ARR3. See, it's 4 comma 6, which is 4 rows and 6 column. Yeah. Have you guys understood this?
Yes, Siddesh.
Okay, perfect. Yeah. Now, in Python, we have used this max function, right? So what this function might be doing? Hello?
Yeah, max function means it returns maximum value
Of the array.
Yeah.
Now see, this is our first array. The maximum value is 16 over here. The largest value is 16. And what does this argmax function return? Anybody? Any guess? What does this argmax function return?
The maximum value of your matrix.
Are you sure?
Right.
I think it returns the index. See? It returns the index of maximum value.
Maximum value, yeah.
Correct.
Okay. Index of maximum value means index is starting with 0, right?
Yeah, it starts with 0.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So similarly, this minimum function will return minimum value of
array.
The array, right? But guys, we have missed one thing over here. As the time goes, I'll tell you that also. Not over in that max. We have missed something over here. What if I do axis equals to 1? See? Why this might be? Why do you think this might have happened? Okay, let me tell you what this axis equals to 1 does is it will check every row. Yeah, no. In pandas, 1 equals to row. In pandas, 1 is row, and in NumPy, 1 is column. So it will check for every column. And let me again confirm. Okay, yeah. Axis equals to 1 will check for every row. And yeah, it will check for every row and it will return the index of maximum value in that particular row, in each row, basically. Now, what if I put it over here as 0? Now, this will also return 3 only, but let's check with this. Let's check with this. Yeah. Now see, x is equals to 1. Yeah, the fifth element of a multiplied matrix. Now, as you can see, in this particular row, the last element means n minus 1. Total 6 elements are there, 6 minus 1, n. Fifth value is the fifth index holds the maximum value of that row. So accordingly, we get over here for each row, index of maximum value for each row. Yeah, the minimum function does something similar. It will it will return the minimum value of the array. Yeah.
Arg max means argument max. Yeah, like this.
Exactly.
Argument. So we will be passing a particular argument in that, and that will be giving means on the basis of that argument, it will be giving the maximum value.
It's not necessary, basically. It's not necessary. But if we wish to get for every element, for every row or for every column, then we need to specify that x is equals to 0 or 1. But coming back to your question, it will basically return the index of maximum value for each column. Suppose we want to get the index of maximum value of each column, okay? Then we can use argmax function, and along with it x is equals to 0. Yeah, and if we want to get the maximum value of each row, index of maximum value of each row, then we can put it over here as x is equals to 1. Did I answer your question?
Yeah.
Okay. Now what do you think this might be doing?
Give you the minimum value of means the index at
Index
the
of
value.
Right, index of minimum value in x is equals to 0 means column, and x is equals to 1 means row. Yeah. Similar with the minimum function, we can get the minimum value in each row and each column also. Yeah. Now the sum function, numpy.sum function. We have passed arr1 to this. So what this will return is sum of all elements of the particular array. 136. It means that sum of all these elements would be equal to 136.
Means here how it calculates means 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus like that only. No?
Correct.
Oh.
Yeah, that way only.
Yeah. And yeah, over here also we can add one parameter as x is equals to 0 or 1. X is equal to 0 will be giving an array of sum of all elements of each column in the array.
Yes.
Correct. So 1 plus 5 plus 1 plus 5, 6, 6 plus 9, 15, 15 and 13 equals to 28, which we are getting over here. So similarly, 2 plus 6, 8 plus 10, 18 plus 32, 32 is we are getting over here. 3, 7 accordingly for each column because x is equal to 0. But what if we want to get sum of rows of all the matrix? Sum of elements of rows of all the matrix. So we'll have to put x is equals to 1 over there, and which will give 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 equals to 10. 5 plus 6 plus 7 plus 8 equals to 26, and accordingly. Yeah. Now numpy.mean function. What is mean? You guys know what is mean or average, what we call?
Or the what you can say, the
Here,
total.
suppose
Go ahead.
in this matrix there is 14
Elements.
elements are there like that divided by that one.
Are you trying to say that we'll be adding all the elements and dividing it by total number of elements?
Yes, that.
Okay. So this 8.5 na, how we have got, let me show it to you. So in our matrix total, the sum of all the elements is 136, right? Since we have calculated over here in the ARR1 array, and we'll just divide it by 16 elements, I guess it was consisting of, right? Yeah, 4
Yes.
plus was 16. Yeah. So let us check. I believe it should print 8.5 only. See, this is how we get the mean. The sum of all the elements upon total number of elements. Yeah. And now, yeah, similarly, this square root function will, this is element wise function. I mean, like for every element, it will calculate square root and it will return that square root value. Like square root of 1 is 1 itself, square root of 4 is 2, square root of 9 is 3, and square root of 16, which is the last element, is 4. Yeah. Now, a numpy.std of array means it will return standard deviation of each element. 9, not each element. It will return standard deviation of the array. You might be having question, what is standard deviation? Am I right? Hello?
Yeah, I
Hello?
think in statistics there is some formula for the standard deviation. I don't remember the formula.
Okay. This is the formula.
Hey guys, so we are going to discuss about this when it comes to the statistics, but you need to understand what is the difference between the population and sample. Okay, statistics, there is the two types of the data, is there samples and population. Okay, these standard deviations we can calculate it based on the population data. Okay, so we are going to learn the statistics completely from the basics. No worries. Okay.
Okay, so
Yeah.
I think we can ignore it now for
Yeah,
now.
you can please ignore it because I have good content to share with you all. So we can experience that all the basics to the advanced. Maybe in the next week or like in another 7 days we can start that. You can go ahead. The same
Perfect.
only, right?
Yeah. Okay.
Uh, Exponential. Do you guys use calculators like scientific calculator?
Yeah, it's a cashier, right?
Yes.
In the scientific calculator, na, this e term,
Yeah.
this will calculate the exponential for the particular value, and for each element we calculate exponential, and this is what our numpy.exp function does. Yeah. Now this is the natural log, or log base and log base.
See, the
Yeah,
base 2 and base 10, there are two logarithmic functions are there. So one is with the
base
base 2.
2 is natural log, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. This np.log, this is natural log of each element, and this numpy.log10 is log base 10. I don't know which log it's called. Yeah.
See, in mathematics, the logarithms are the inverse operation to the exponentiation. So, in the previous example, you are calculating the exponential value, right? So,
Right.
logarithm means it is the inverse operation to the exponentiation. Okay, it means that logarithm of number is the exponent to the which another fixed value. So, whether you can use the base 2 or base 10, something like that, we can calculate. Okay. So, but there is also log table. I don't know how many of you remember in our college days, there is something is called the log table, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So there we have the by default is the base 2, okay, which we can give. Some logarithms we can give the base 16, base 8, base 10, but mostly we use the base 2 and base 10 only. Yeah, yeah, so there is a values like 0 to 9, or we can give 0 to 99. We can calculate the base values. But don't worry, guys. We can also look into it in the mathematics. See, we have the concepts to discuss on the mathematics and statistics. We'll discuss definitely. This is one of the concepts I'm going to talk also, because we don't need to jump into the just like into the other concepts. We have a plan, okay, about the stats and maths. So we'll grill all the concepts, okay. Don't worry, go ahead. But as of now, you just remember there is a log base 2 and log base 10. There are two types of the logarithmic functions out there, but what are those in detail we are going to experience. And if you that much eagerly you want to know the answer, go and study something from the Khan Academy. Okay. Go ahead, Siddesh. Sorry, just in
Okay,
between.
yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, this is what basically the relation between log and exponential. Log of 5 equals to e raised to 5. I'm not sure about this. Yeah, this is the relation. I'm sorry, I scribbled it a lot. Yeah, this is the relation. Am I right?
Yeah. Okay, I'm not on mute, right? Okay, good.
Okay.
So is it late, guys? For you all, is it okay? Can we continue? Or do you have so much content, right? Uh,
5 more files.
5 more.
Yeah.
I don't think so. People can, because we can stop this one at this moment. What do you
Let's
think,
complete
Siddesh?
half of them. Half of them. Let's complete 5.
Yeah. Okay. If the
Sorry,
people,
let's complete 4.
how many you completed?
3 I've completed. 5 remaining. Let's complete 4 today, 4 tomorrow.
Yeah. Okay. Fine. Go ahead.
Yeah. Now, slicing in Python, it's similar. Similarly, we do slicing of elements in the array also. Now, let us see how that is done. I've created a 6 by 6 matrix. All right. What I was trying to do over here. Yeah. Now, we represent the shape of matrix in row comma column format, right? So what is done over here is 0th row and 0th column. Since indexing start with 0, so this would be the 0th row, and this would be the this first 1, 7, 30, 19, 25. This would be the first column, 0th column. So the first element from here, which is we get over here. Mx is the name of matrix, and 0 comma 0 I've specified the position of the element, and it printed back the element. Yeah. Yeah. So first one is the number of first one is the row, right? So what basically is done over here is I want to print. You guys know slicing, right? Slicing in list.
Yeah, same thing. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, we know.
Correct. So what over here is done? 0 to third, but 3 is not included. Remember that, okay? 3 is not included. N minus 1.
Yeah,
So
3
0, 1,
one.
and 2. Sorry?
Yeah, n-1 logic is there.
Exactly. Yeah. So this is 0 to third row means first 3 rows I want to print, and first 3 row and columns from 3 onwards till the last. Since I have not specified anything after semicolon over here, I can even do this. If I put 6 over here now, it will print the same thing, no difference. See, 4, 5, 6, 10, 11, 12. And what if I remove? See, it's printing the same thing. So nothing means till the last element. Yeah.
You can also put like colon. That will be also fine for that.
Yeah, that would be fine, which will print whole array. See over here.
Yeah, whole array.
Right. Exactly as you were trying to say. Yeah. So over here, it will be printing all the rows and fifth column, means the last column. So as you guys can see, 6, 12, 18, 24, 30, and 6. Last element of each column. No, last element of each row. Yeah. Then over here, I am going to slice the third, third row and first to fourth column. First to fourth column means 1 to 3. These 3 columns. 20, 21, 22. See, third means this row, and from this first to 4, right, means this is the first element, this is the second, and this is the third. 20, 21, 22. This would be printed, I guess. Yeah, similar thing. Now over here, second and third row would be printed, and 4 to 6 column. Yeah, similar. And if we put whole array is printed, if we put this whole array is printed, and yeah, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. Yeah. Yeah, this will what this will print is the first element is row, since we have not put anything over here, so it will print fourth row. and all the columns. Yeah, 4th row and all the columns. This might be done like this also. See? 4th row and all the columns. And what if I want to print first 4 rows? No, sorry, first 5 rows, since 5 minus 1, 4. Yeah, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. What if I want to print all the columns and uh, first 5 rows? Then I can use this way. I'll share this notebook with you because I'm not sure that you might have understood, because you will have to go through this and try to like slice each and every column. So don't worry. And many of you might have understood also. That's not an issue. So yeah, this is for this one. Let me just check out the second one. This is a smaller one. Shall I take it? If you guys are agreeing to that thing, I can take this also. Hello?
Yeah, okay.
Okay, so I should continue, right? Yeah. So I'll take it quick now. I've created an array using arrange function and reshaped it to 4 cross 4 matrix. Okay. Yeah, I've created two similarly. Now, if we want to concatenate two arrays, do you know string concatenation?
Yeah, I know. In string concatenation, we are using plus symbol generally.
Right. For those who don't know, let me just show. Suppose string 1 equals to I and st2 equals to by. So concatenation means st1 plus st2. Yeah. See, I have combined both the strings, which basically means that I have concatenated both the strings. And you need to realize that you need to keep in mind that it does not have any separator. We'll have to put it manually. Either we can put space over here or at the end of this, which would lead to some separator between them. Yeah. So similarly, we can also concatenate two arrays, or yeah, we can also concatenate two arrays using np.concatenate function. First array, second array, and x is equals to 0 or 1. Yeah, let's see what that basically does.
These all are related to SQL also. In SQL also, these type of functions are there.
Yeah.
Especially concat means one of the function is in SQL, that is concat function.
Okay.
Yeah.
Over here also, it's there is one concat function. I'll show it. It's in the next slides. Next notebook, I'll show it to you. But let me just complete it first.
Yeah, SQL concepts are touches in this data science generally. So SQL knowledge is also mandatory, I think.
Right, but yeah, but actually, this all belongs to mathematics.
Yeah, mathematics only.
That is boss.
Yeah, mathematics with that functions also that previously you're telling that min, max, sum, all that is belongs to SQL aggregate group functions only.
Okay.
And concat, these are also SQL character functions, all those things. This
one. Yeah, great. And the thing which you are doing now, like comparing the functions with what you know, that's a really great thing of learning something new. So keep
yeah, I know
continue
SQL.
with that. Yeah, great. Perfect.
I'm the Oracle certified candidate.
Wow, that's really nice.
Actually, my previous experience is Oracle only, but I want to move. This is data science. That's why now I am learning Python, Django, all those things.
Okay. Happy learning.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, yeah. So now over here we have created two arrays, and what if we want to concatenate it in such a way that first array is second array is below the first one. So for that we can use numpy.concatenate function, and inside a tuple we need to assign the two arrays, and as a parameter we can use axis equals to 0, which means column. So it will axis equals to 0 is because if we want to put one below the other, the two functions, the two arrays one below the other, then we can use axis equals to 0 over there. But if we put axis equals to 1 over here, na? Sorry. Yeah. Now see the difference. Now axis equals to 1 means 1 uh, and 1 on the one side and other on the other side, they have combined like horizontal. Yeah. If we want to do column wise concatenation, there is a function called vstack, also numpy.vstack. So what the difference is, we don't need to like define the axis value over here, and it will concatenate accordingly. Yeah, and there's also hstack or horizontal function. So using concatenate function also we can do, and using hstack also we can do. Yeah. Yeah, the last from this notebook, numpy.split function. So let us create an array using arrange function of 64 elements distributed 8 comma 8 distributed into 8 cross 8. Okay, so what the split function will do is it will, this first one would be yeah, first we need to pass the array name, and then we need to pass the parts. Suppose 64 elements, right? Max mx underscore 8s. So let's check what initially its shape was. Mx underscore 8s dot. Yeah. So initially the shape of that mx under the shape of our array is m8 comma 8, means 8 row and 8 column, and if we split it into if we use split function into it, then the array name is the first parameter, second is the number of parts, like four row and 8 columns. Yeah, this is it, 4 rows and 8 columns. And x is equals to 0 means we want to do it column wise. And what if we put x is equals to 1? It will distribute along the row. So any question till this? Hello?
No question, Siddesh.
Yeah, great. I think we should wrap up now.
या कल फ्लैग होस्टिंग को भी जाना है ना सुबह.
हाँ, correct. Great. So yeah, I'm done.